Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. I'm coming to you live from India, in Goa, one of the most beautiful places here to visit. But yesterday I almost got run over by a bus, and that inspired me to lay out all the frustrations that I have about this country. So far I've been here for almost a month now, and I can for sure say there are at least 5 things that really frustrate me and things that I hate about India. I also want to say, guys, that I love this country. I love India. It's pretty beautiful, and there is nice everything to see and visit and food. I can make a separate video for that. But here's the things that really pissed me off as being Canadian, coming to India, and also being Ukrainian. And well, I just want to lay it all out for you and just tell you the most frustrating things that Indians themselves might not even notice it, but it's noticeable if you're a foreigner in this country. So I decided to make a video for you like that. Here you go, guys. First thing is selfish people. Oh my God, guys, it is really frustrating. There are some people here, and not some people, majority of the people are extremely selfish. And guys, I cannot say that Canadians are different or any country are different, but some people here, they go above and beyond rudeness in terms of selfishness. Like, for example, I was coming to Goa, guys, from Kerala. Okay, so I was coming from Kerala, from Tiruvalla on a train. On a train, guys. We booked a train. It was hell of an experience. Of course, we got a better compartment, and it's almost like luxury and everything, but not really luxury according to my standards, but that's a different story. We were going on a train, and there was a 3 seats, for example, right? 33 places where you can sleep, and I had one of the places up on the shelf there. So, you know, I come in, and you see there's a family there. There are one guy and his parents, senior guys, and normally on a train, for example, people who are traveling upstairs initially they can sit down. They took all the places, and they didn't want to share any common spaces with myself or anyone else for that matter. So they were like, oh, my parents don't feel good, we need the entire place for ourselves. And it's just like, so rude, so selfish. It was just unbelievable. I was like, like, you guys are going to travel for many hours with me in this compartment. Like, is that kind of relationship you want to build with the entrance? For example, also the same thing if you're buying groceries or you're in a line. People are just trying to get in front of you. People are trying to get their products. They're trying to give it ahead of you to the counter for a checkout, for a scanning. So, like, very bad mannered in that way. Like, very selfish. Like, if they need to get their things done, they would disregard anyone and anything on their way and get it done. So absolutely inconsiderate towards others, and it's really frustrating. Like, it's so frustrating that like sometimes I think that people need some good ass whipping. Sometimes it gets so I get so annoyed. I'm like, what? If you did something like that in Europe, you get your ass kicked. I'm not even joking right now. With this kind of behavior, it's like beyond rude in that way. But the interesting part about it, they don't notice it. And one time I got so angry, I pointed it out to their faces, and they understood. And they were not rude. So that's not the rudeness, it's just the culture, how people behave here. That small part is really infuriated for being like myself, coming from Canada, being European. If somebody behaves like that there, like, you're just asking for it, like, But anyways, yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming how selfish people are. So if you're in India, maybe it's because of population, because there are so many people. Everyone just wants to get their things done, and no matter what, like, they would walk over your head and they would get their things done. So it's like a rat race in that way. Very tough country in that way. And if you are not from here, like myself, it gets really annoyed, because in Europe you do that, you'll get in trouble. Anyways, I actually wrote all the notes on my laptop here, what I want to mention today. And the second part is, it's even more frustrating. Money is everything. And by money, I mean, so people are extremely capitalistic. Okay, guys, I want to say that, what a quick disclaimer, that there's a lot of things that I like about India. But today is the video where I'm going to whine, so if you don't like it, if you don't want to listen to it, guys, then don't. Because I'm going to say some real stuff right now that might piss you off if you are from this country. Money is everything, number 2. So basically, there's so much of, like, everything is built around money. You know, people, when you are coming, for example, we were on a boat, we went on a boat, so it was already almost a sunset. They said there is no boats available, but we can get you a boat for more money. We decided to walk away from that situation. Then they said, oh, we do have a boat. So they tried to charge us more. Then they said, okay, we can charge you a little bit less. Then they still charged us more for the same boat because we are tourists, and they gave us an overfilled boat. And then they were waiting for other tourists to come, even though it was already full. They left, we left, the boat left. They turned the boat around and brought it back to hopefully get more people, just so that they can maximize the profit. Now, but that point is sightseeing. It's almost a sunset. It's almost done. Like the day is done. But they're trying to make more money. They don't care if you're going to see sightseeing. They don't care about anything. The only thing that person, the boat person, cares about is to get more people on the boat, upcharge everyone. We also found out that we were charged more, still more than everyone else on the boat, because of my skin color. Being white, you get premium charging here. Basically, they would overfill the boat, overcharge you, not care if you see anything, and make profit of you. So that, like, money is everything here. You would get cheated, you would get scammed, they would upcharge you, but they would not care about your experience. In that way, it's especially those small vendors. That's one of the reasons, guys, I'm here in one of the 5-star or most luxurious hotels right now. So I want to say that I figured out that if you're trying to be cheap in India, you might get cheated. So I decided not to be cheap, and I booked a really expensive hotel for myself. And in this hotel, everything is perfect. Okay, so everything is amazing here. But otherwise, money is everything, and it's like people would do anything for anything, to get more money. So it's not even like you say America is capitalistic country, you would say Canada is capitalistic country. Man, you haven't seen India. Like, people would break mountains here for money. Now, next part is, and it's really frustrating when, for example, if you're white like myself, you're just a money bag for a lot of locals. And like I was saying, people are selfish, people need money. Another part about is, well, let's talk about authority issues. So there's actually a pretty big situation there in terms of authority, you know, here in India. And it is actually kind of funny. Like, I know that there's power trips in the United States, for example, where you get people, you know, like police and everything. It happens every country. But the most interesting part here in India is that, well, everyone is trying to show a little bit of authority. So even if the person is, for example, he is, like, for example, a conductor on a train. So that person wants to make sure that everyone knows that that person is a boss on the train. And if it's a police officer, they have to show that they have some kind of authority as well. So there's like a big sphere of if you're an officer, for example, a police officer, or for example, anything for that matter, even if you are like a security guard or even like a cleaner, I don't know, like any tiny piece of authority. If somebody says you're responsible for that bench, that person has to make sure that you know that that person is responsible for that bench or for that swimming pool, let's say. So there's kind of a thing where people have to illustrate authority, and it's very important to them. And sometimes it gets to such a level. For example, I pulled out my cell phone on a train to record, and I had one of the guys from the kitchen who was demanding that I delete the video. Like, delete the video. Like, who the hell are you? But anyways, so that's one of the things about here is those people who have even a little bit of authority, they have to make sure that you know about it and everyone else knows about it, even though their authority doesn't matter or anything, but they're going to make sure everyone knows about it, and they'll try to abuse it. So in that way, I want to say that, yeah, it's pretty wild in that way. Like, why would you do that? But for me, it can be a little bit frustrating, because for me it's funny. It's funny too when somebody on a train is thinking that they're in charge of like they can have your cell phone and ask you to delete your picture. You know, like, yeah, all right. I still recorded that video. I'll show it to you in the next video when I was traveling, when the guy demanded for me to delete it. Anyways, so it is crazy. So first thing is, guys, what I want to say is, well, selfishness, money-oriented, and authoritarian. Three parts I mentioned so far. Another part is love of arguing. It's actually interesting. Guys, like, I think this is a negative part and something that really infuriates me in India, but I also want to say that it is also one of those parts, guys, that I think I should learn from people here is people are very good in arguing between each other for any reason. Like, everyone is professional in delivering on what they want to say. And actually, like, I don't like it, but I also envy people here for having that skill and ability to argue like that and articulate their speech. So if they're not happy with something, they're going to make sure they're arguing with you or as anyone else, and they're going to express their opinion. Now, I think it's actually a good trait, even though sometimes it's like, stop arguing, like, it's not a big thing, like, don't make a mess. But I actually envy people who are able to do that in such a profound manner. And finally, the final point is, well, driving and crossing roads. Now, guys, driving here, like, I know you're going to say, why didn't I mention this the first point? I want to say, driving here is beyond frustrating. And it's not only about driving, it's also being a pedestrian. Like, for example, even for this hotel where I'm staying right now, yesterday a shuttle driver from this hotel almost ran me over. I'm just walking with the kid, flip-flops, just after swimming, the bus drives by, and then he reverses on the wrong side of the road, and he reverses into the intersection and goes back at me without even seeing me. Like, I literally had to freaking run for my life in order not to get run over. People here who are driving are absolutely inconsiderate, selfish, and they're okay to even run you over. I heard even stories in Kerala where people would run you over in terms of, like, on a bus, for example, and after that, when they run, they would go through the court and everything, and, well, they are not even going to get charged for that. The insurance company would cover for that. Like, literally people getting killed on the road and drivers not getting any kind of charges and getting away with anything. So in that way, when you're a pedestrian and a bunch of drivers and lawlessness like that, you know, and like all sorts of, for example, they have this, not the memberships, but for example, you know, organizations that protect those drivers, cab drivers, bus drivers. So basically, the bigger the car you have, the bigger the bus you have, the bigger the truck you have, the more authority you have on the road, and the more recklessly people would drive, and they would get away with anything. So you really, if you're a pedestrian, there is no driving rules, except people stop on the red light sometimes if there is a police officer standing. So there is no driving rules, there is no driving regulations, and in that way, it's pretty crazy. You're on your own. So if you're crossing the road, you know, you have to make sure you don't get run over, because the person who is going to break the rules, run you over, is not going to be held responsible. So in that way, it's like really frustrating, and it's like a survival game. And believe me when I say you have really dumb people on the road here too. Like, not every person who is driving is smart. You get some rickshaws who are like absolutely, they don't go for any kind of education, or I don't even know if they do any kind of driving test. They get their license and they drive like crazy. And there is some city bus drivers. It's like a huge coffin that drives on the road that is going to run you over. You're on your own. So in that way, I was so frustrated today, yesterday when I was crossing the road, and the guy was just not crossing. I was walking on one side of the road because there is no pedestrians as well, and he almost just drives into me, and the guy doesn't care, or anything for that matter, and he's actually working for this hotel as a shuttle driver, probably outsourced. But anyways, so what I'm trying to say is, look at this, guys. These are the things that really frustrate me about India, is because it is like a big money-making machine with a lot of people who think only for themselves, inconsiderate to others, driving like crazy. They would cheat you for money, throw you out, run you over, abuse their authority, and this kind of things. So in that way, you know what, guys? I wouldn't want to live in this country for, like, I know why my wife left this country now, a little bit better from my own experience, and I would be overwhelmed living in this country. That's why I would not immigrate or move to India myself. But besides that, I want to make a separate video about the good parts about India. What are the best parts? Like, there's so many places to see, there's amazing food, and there are really amazing people out here as well. You just have to find them. And there's amazingly different cultures, and from state to province, city to city, the differentiation between different cultures and the behaviors and religions. Like, it's crazy. It's a beautiful country. But with these 5 frustrating things, I wouldn't be able to live here myself. And I decided to make a video for you, especially after yesterday almost dying, after that bus driver almost ran me over, and I almost got into a fight with him. But I was like, you know what? It's just a different culture, different people. This guy doesn't even realize how idiotic he is when he almost ran me over. So I decided not to get into an argument. Anyways, I hope you like this video, and we'll see you next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to read your comments. What are the things that you love about India? If you're from here, how did you survive for so many years? And let me know other things. See you guys next video. Bye for now.